The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2, in conjunction with Colfax High School, presents Viking Pregame. A look at today's Colfax Vikings boys game. And now, Viking Pregame.
Good evening, and welcome to the NLWN2 studios. Rick Olson here, and tonight, the 7-13 Colfax Vikings, who are 4-7 in the Dunn St. Croix Conference, are getting ready to try to get a little revenge on the Elmwood Plum City Wolves, who are 2-9 in the conference, as well as 5-13 overall. The Vikings are looking for some payback for the game back on January 11th, where the Wolves upset the Vikings 55-45. Now tonight, the Vikings are coming off a 68-43 loss to the Elk Mound Mounders back on Thursday, and the Wolves are coming off a 79-38 loss to the Boyceville Bulldogs also on Thursday. In tonight's Viking pregame, we'll take a look at tonight's matchup between the Elmwood Plum City Wolves and the Colfax Vikings. Then we'll get Viking head coach Mark Knowles' outlook on tonight's game. Following that, we'll take a quick look at where things stand in the Dunn St. Croix Conference. Then our broadcast crew will bring you all the play-by-play action of tonight's game. So it's time to get ready for some exciting high school boys basketball. All that coming up right after this brief timeout. You're tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu.
We don't have time for delays.
Ready!
We don't have time for spills.
Next.
We don't have time for setbacks. Let's be real.
Getting the flu shot
Helps you fight the flu.
Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
Welcome back to Viking Pregame, where we're getting ready to bring you all the action of tonight's game with a Dunn St. Croix matchup between the Elmwood Plum City Wolves and the Colfax Vikings. The 7-13 Vikings, who are 4-7 in the Dunn St. Croix, are hoping to build a little confidence and momentum for the WIAE Regionals following their 68-43 loss to the Elk Mound Mounders last Thursday. The Wolves are sitting at 5-13 overall, as well as 2-9 in the Dunn St. Croix Conference, and are hoping to gain a season sweep over the Vikings with a win tonight. Now, in the Vikings' effort against Elk Mound, the Vikings were unable to get anybody to score in double digits. However, they were led in scoring by 6-foot junior Aiden Fisher, who hit on 3 field goals, all of which were 3-pointers for 9 points. He was followed by Elijah Ensminger, Orion Nichols, and Eli Ralph, who each chipped in 6 points. Now, on the boards, the Vikings were also led by Fisher, who pulled down 6 rebounds. Now, the Elmwood Plum City Wolves are sitting at 2-9 in the Dunn St. Croix, with one of those wins coming over the Vikings back on January 11th in Plum City. The Wolves are coming off a 79-38 loss at the hands of the Boyceville Bulldogs last Thursday. In that game against Boyceville, the Wolves were led by 6-foot junior guard Lucas Glaus, who went 8 for 20 from the floor, including 2 3-pointers, as well as 6 for 6 from the free throw line for 24 points. After Glaus, none of the Wolves could muster more than 3 points. Now, so far this season, the Wolves are being led by Glaus, who's shooting at 40% from the floor, including 27% from beyond the 3-point arch, and 72% from the free throw line, while averaging nearly 20 points per game. He's followed by 5'8" senior guard Blake Allen, who's hitting on 32% from the floor, including 31% from 3-point land, as well as 68% from the charity stripe, while averaging over 10 points per game. 6'3" senior Aiden Maxwell, along with Glaus, lead the Wolves in rebounding by pulling down around 7.5 and 7 boards per game, respectively. Now, thus far this season, the Vikings are being led in scoring by 5'9" senior Elijah Ensminger, who is shooting at 39% from the floor, including 28% from 3-point land, as well as 70% from the free throw line, while averaging over 17 points per game. Aiden Fisher is also scoring in the double digits with an average of around 14.5 points per game. Eli Ralph, Blake Johnson, and Mason Yarrington are also contributing around 5 points per game each. Leading the way rebounding for the Vikings is Fisher, who's grabbing over 6 boards per game, with Eli Ralph grabbing right around 4. Now, coming up next, following this timeout, we'll get the coach's perspective as we chat with Viking head coach Mark Knoll on Coach's Corner. You're tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
Here's Grandma Florence after that flood wiped out the whole neighborhood.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here.
I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy.
Your family is your legacy. Planning for a natural disaster will make sure you're all safe. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today.
Time now to see what the coaches have to say. It's Coach's Corner, where they look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. And now, Coach's Corner.
Once again on Coach's Corner, we're talking Viking boys head coach Mark Knoll. And Coach, tonight the Vikings get an opportunity to turn things around when they face the Elmwood Plum City Wolves. But before we discuss that, let's take a look back at Thursday, where the Vikings were defeated by the Elkmound Mounders 68-43. What are your thoughts about that game?
To be honest with you, I don't have a lot of thoughts about it. You know, Elkmound's a very good team. They're long, they're athletic, and we just didn't hit our flow on offense, and that was because Elkmound took us out of our flow. So credit to them. We're not gonna, when we get to the tournament here, which we're getting to pretty soon, we're not gonna play a team as long as Elkmound is, and so we just have to move past it. Is the mindset.
Now, once again in that game, the Vikings got off to, as you kind of alluded to, a slow start, digging themselves into a pretty deep hole. And this kind of has been a reoccurring theme this season. Is this a confidence thing, an attitude thing, or are they, well, like me, can't function at full speed until they've had that first cup of coffee?
Right, there you go. I think what it was is just, yes, part of it is confidence, but in that confidence, it's not that they don't believe in themselves or each other. It's more about, you know, when you don't see the ball going through the basket, you put that extra pressure on yourself, and you have to be able to fight through that. You can't allow yourself to think that, you know, negative for even a second, and that's just what happened, you know. And I think that we have the potential, like we've shown it, you know, all throughout the season, and so I'm moving past that Elkmound game, to be honest with you.
Well, tonight we can move past it because the Vikings will take on the Elmwood Plum City Wolves. It's a Dunn St. Croix Conference matchup. What can you tell us about the Wolves?
Well, the Wolves are, you know, they're a team that likes to play more methodical. They're gonna try to slow that game down. You know, if they could, they would love to win 45-42. That would be the score that they would want to win the game at. We're going to try to speed it up, and we're going to try to push the ball and attack and get in the open space. That's how we're going to try to play. So it's going to be a battle of two different styles playing against each other, and I'm okay with, you know, the long possessions on offense, but as long as we're scoring, you know. And we lost to them at EPC. We had to play at Plum City. And in that game was probably our worst shooting game of the year, and we lost by around 10 points. So I think our boys are excited to get that monkey off their back and show that we're the team that we want to be. And if we can take care of business in these last 3 conference games, we'll finish in 4th place in conference.
Yeah, in fact, you mentioned it back on the 11th of January. The Wolves did beat the Vikings, and you're right, it was by 10. It was 55-45. And it's a game that the Vikings felt that they should win going into the game. Now, tonight is a chance to exact a little revenge. How big of a motivating factor is that?
It's huge, you know. It's big because I think the kids kind of felt. We watched game film yesterday of it, and we had to shut it off after about 10 minutes because I think we were all getting frustrated that we could see, you know, the opportunities that we missed throughout that game. And part of that's just a learning experience, and we've got to step up our game and come with our energy and intensity. And we also showed them that what we're playing for, we're playing to get fourth place in conference and to have a 500 record in conference. We can finish the year at 7-7 in conference.
Now, the Wolves do have, in fact, it all starts and stops, it looks like, with Lucas Klaus, who's putting in right around 20 points per game. What do you do to shut him down? Because there isn't a whole lot else there, at least not on paper. The Allen boy is pretty tough, but Klaus is what it's all about with the Wolves.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much their whole offense is going to go through him. He's averaging just under 20 points a game. He's a very active young man. He's not going to just stand in a corner. He's not just going to stand around. He's going to be constantly cutting and moving, and we'll probably have Elijah on him again, is kind of our game plan. And I think Elijah does a great job because athletically he can keep him in front of him, and he can make each shot where they're contested, and that's what we want. We want every shot contested. We don't want him to get any open looks, because if he does, he's going to make them.
Well, Coach Noel, good luck on tonight's game. Hopefully the Vikings can take a step toward finishing that conference season at the 500 mark.
Thank you very much. Go Vikings.
You've been listening to Coach's Corner, with a look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual, and she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, "Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you, and we'll figure it out."
Welcome back to Viking Pregame, as we're getting ready to bring you tonight's Dunn St. Croix Conference game, pitting the Colfax Vikings against the Elmwood Plum City Wolves. Now, before we get into tonight's game, it would be a good idea to take a look around the Dunn St. Croix Conference to see where things stand. Now, last Thursday, the Dunn St. Croix saw games that included the Colfax Vikings being defeated by the Elk Mound Mounders 68-43, while the Glenwood City Hilltoppers were topped by the Durand, Arkansas Panthers 66-40, and the Spring Valley Cardinals took care of the Mondovi Buffaloes 53-30, as well as the Boyceville Bulldogs besting the Elmwood Plum City Wolves 79-38. Then on Friday, the Durand, Arkansas Panthers stepped out of conference play for some non-conference action against the Cochrane Fountain City Pirates, with the Pirates coming out on top 58-52. Now that leaves the Dunn St. Croix Conference standings as follows. Tied for first place with 10-1 records are the Durand, Arkansas Panthers and the Spring Valley Cardinals. In third place at 9-2 and only a game behind are the Elk Mound Mounders. In fourth place and in a three-way tie are the Colfax Vikings, the Boyceville Bulldogs, along with the Glenwood City Hilltoppers, all with 4-7 records and 6 games behind the leaders. In seventh place lies the Elmwood Plum City Wolves, while eighth place belongs to the Mondovi Buffaloes. Tonight, in addition to the Vikings taking on the EPC Wolves in Colfax, the Dunn St. Croix Conference has scheduled the Durand, Arkansas Panthers to host the Mondovi Buffaloes, while the Elk Mound Mounders will travel to Spring Valley to take on the Spring Valley Cardinals, and the Glenwood City Hilltoppers will visit the Boyceville Bulldogs. Tonight, in addition to getting momentum built for the upcoming WIAA Regionals, the Vikings will try to pick up a little revenge for the loss they suffered at the hands of the Wolves 55-45 back on January 11th. In that game, the Vikings allowed 3 Wolves, Aiden Maxwell, Lucas Klaus, and Blake Allen, to score in double digits. The Vikings felt like the Wolves didn't get the Vikings' best effort in that game, and they will need to be ready to play tonight. So the stage is set for some exciting boys high school basketball, and we'll have all the action for you right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. Now, in just a moment, we'll send it out to our broadcast crew at Colfax High School as we bring you all the action of tonight's Dunn-St. Croix Conference battle between the Colfax Vikings and the Elmwood Plum City Wolves. That's all coming up next. You've been tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
You know you don't have to wear your PT gear anymore, right?
It's comfortable.
So how's civilian life treating you?
It's fine.
When I got out, I didn't want to admit that there was anything wrong because I felt like a failure. And then I realized, there's nothing to be ashamed of. So I started talking to someone. Maybe you are fine, but if you're not, it's okay.
Thank you.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
You've been tuned to Viking Pregame with a look at today's Colfax Viking Boys game. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. Stay tuned. Coming up next is live Colfax Viking basketball. It happens to everyone eventually. Your computer goes on the fritz. Fear not, Slayton's Technology Services can help. When your computer decides to not cooperate, it can be very frustrating. Let Slayton's Technology Services keep you from wanting to drive your computer right off a cliff. Slayton's Technology Services supports business of all sizes. They offer assistance with managed anti-malware, encrypted email, fast tech support, data backup, and recovery, and more. Call Slayton's Technology Services at 715-864-2833 and get the IT help you desire. Slayton's Technology Services is the official IT service for the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
In November of 2018, our daughter Jana passed away. The outpouring of support was unbelievable. Support that we received inspired us to start a foundation called the Jana Kelly Memorial Foundation. And through that foundation,
we've given back in a lot of different ways, through projects, through different other charities that we've supported. We like to help Humane Association, and the Ronald McDonald House is something that's very near and dear to us. We've also recently, this last year, we actually built a tiny house. It's really exciting to be able to give back in different ways.
To learn more or to help financially, find us on Facebook or www.janakelly.com.
Colfax Viking Boys Basketball is on the air.
He'll pass it out to Blake Johnson. He'll take the shot for three. Vikings.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network, along with NLWN2, is excited to bring you Colfax High School Boys Basketball.
Swinger down inside to Hoffman. He'll drive the right side of the lane, pop it up from 6. Good.
Join us as we follow the Vikings while they battle their way through the Dunn-St. Croix Conference.
Charlo out to Ensminger for 3. He hits it!
And now out to the gym for today's Colfax Viking basketball.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Colfax High School. Tonight, the rematch between the Colfax Viking Boys and the Elmwood Plum City Wolves. I'm Jay Fall here with Dan Petchaw. Our camera operator is Chris Olson, and executive producer Rick Olson is also here. This is going to be a revenge game, as on January 11th, the Wolves downed the Vikings in Plum City by a score of 55-45. Elmwood is in a tie for 7th place in the Dunn-St. Croix Conference. They've got 2 wins and 9 losses. They're 5-13 on the year. The Vikings are in a three-way tie, three-way tie for 4th place in the conference, along with Boyceville and their Friday night opponent on the road, Glenwood City. 4-7 in the conference for the Colfax Vikings, while they are 7-13 overall. Tonight's Colfax Viking Boys Basketball game is brought to you by the Colfax Animal Hospital. Let Doctors Austin and Nikki Pritchard and their friendly staff take care of your pet. C&K Construction, your concrete experts for the Chippewa Valley. Dairy State Bank, where they're banking on relationships. Midwest Environmental Consultants, soil testers for Western Wisconsin. Anderson Bridges, who have been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. Slayton's Technology, IT provider for the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Menominee Eye and Optical, quality personalized care for you and your family. And Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax, comfort food the way Mom used to make it. We hope that you'll thank these fine sponsors soon by stopping in and doing business with them. They bring you Colfax Viking Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN 2, and Viking TV. We'll be back in a minute.
Give yourself a little love this Valentine's Day. Open a health savings account or HSA to save tax-free dollars for out-of-pocket medical costs. Eyeglasses, braces, and acupuncture are just a few items allowed by the IRS. Dairy State Bank HSAs are serviced locally and work like a regular checking account. Pay by check or with a debit card and access your account through online or mobile banking. Give us a call to learn more. Dairy State Bank. Banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
Are your animals feeling a little under the weather? Give the nice folks at Colfax Animal Hospital a call. Austin and Nikki Pritchard are just what the doctor ordered. In fact, they are the doctors and they're ready to help. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Give them a call at 715-962-3380.
Other games going on tonight in the Dun St. Croix. Mondovi with a 1-3 conference mark is at undefeated Durand, Arkansas. Undefeated in the conference, anyway. Well, no, that's not right. They are 10-1. Mondovi is 1-10. For Glenwood City is Friday night's opponent for the Colfax boys. They're at Boyceville tonight. Glenwood City 4-7 in the conference, as is Boyceville. So that tie is going to get broken up a little bit, and I think that Colfax would like to be involved in that as well. And Elk Mound is at Spring Valley tonight. The Mounders 9-2 in the conference in third place. Spring Valley is tied with Durand, Arkansas for first place with a 10-1 mark. And so we were talking before the game that tournament time is right around the corner, Dan, and that the Vikings would like to, ideally win out, and it's very possible to make sure that they can not be in that very first night of regionals.
Right. Yeah. If you get that, we had that little debate here a little bit ago. Would they want home court, or do you be a lower seed and then you go on the road? And we were saying that there is a gap there at the end of the season that they could just get home court advantage, and yeah, I would think I would go with that and try to get maybe a 2 or 3 seed yet.
You bet. The rest of the schedule for the Vikings, on this coming Monday night, they will play a non-conference battle over at Wausau East High School, and they will wrap up the regular season back here at Colfax a week from Thursday night, facing the Mondovi Buffaloes. As far as Plum City goes, they've got a little more of an uphill climb here. They they host Elk Mound Friday night, and then they're at Cochran Fountain City on Monday. And then they will host Plum City, or Spring Valley at Plum City on Thursday the 22nd. Let's go down to the sidelines for the playing of the national anthem and the introduction of the starters.
Place your hand over your heart to honor the flag as the national anthem is played. Welcome to Colfax High School for tonight's Doug St. Croix boys basketball matchup between the Elmwood Plum City Wolves and your Colfax Vikings. Introducing the starters for the Wolves. Number 2 was senior Blake Allen. Number 5 was junior Lucas Klaus. Number 11 is senior Aiden Bertzer. Number 24 freshman Logan Off. And number 25 is junior Jacob Steele. The Wolves are led by head coach Kyle Webb. And now the starting lineup for your Colfax Vikings. At guard is 6-foot senior number 4 Aiden Fisher. At guard, the 5'9" senior number 10, Elijah Ensminger. At guard, the 6-foot senior number 15, Mason Yarrington. At guard, the 6-foot senior number 23, Blake Johnson. And at forward, the 6'3" senior number 33, Eli Rao. The Vikings are led by head coach Mark Muller. Tonight, Colfax High School sophomore Grant Balowitz would like to remind the players, parents, and coaches what it means to be a good sport.
At Colfax High School, sportsmanship is an expectation, so please let the players play, the coaches coach, let the officials officiate, and let the spectators be positive. Thank you fans, players, and coaches for letting your sportsmanship show. Have fun watching us play.
So to fill in some blanks for the Elmwood Plum City starting lineup, Blake Allen's a 5'8" senior guard. Lucas Glaus is the leading scorer for the Wolves. He's a 6-foot junior guard, and we'll fill in the rest as we go. Ball is taken by Aiden Fisher for the Vikings, who are in home white with red numerals and trim. They're moving left and right as Elijah Ensminger takes a look at it, fires it back to Yarrington. Ensminger will look again, and he'll fire it back to Blake Johnson. Around the horn again, and Ensminger's going to drive toward the far corner, pass it out again to Blake Johnson. Back to Ensminger. Man-to-man defense, Ensminger for 3. Catches the front iron. It's rebounded by Lucas Glaus of the Wolves. He quickly gets it up the floor to Logan Oth, who puts in the layup, and it is 2-0 Elmwood. Oth's a 6-foot freshman guard. Steele, 25, is a 6'3" junior center. Colfax with the ball. Up on top, that's Johnson over to Yarrington, free throw line left. Yarrington down in the corner to Ensminger, back to Mason Yarrington. Keeping it over on the left side, Elmwood man-to-man. And Yarrington's going to bring it out near the center jump circle. He'll fire it off to Ensminger. Back to Yarrington. Yarrington free throw line extended left. He's being guarded by Blake Allen. Back down to Johnson. Johnson's going to drive the baseline, try to get it out to Fisher. Fisher to Yarrington. He'll look at a 3-ball quick and then out to Ensminger. He'll take a look as well, out to Yarrington. And Colfax being very patient here at the start. Out to Yarrington. Off a high pass, bounces it to Ensminger. Ensminger for 3, rolls around the rim and out, rebounded by the Wolves off. Lucas Glaus will bring the ball up the court for the Raiders, the former Raiders, the Wolves. Out to Allen. Allen to Oth in the corner of the lane. Colfax also applying man-to-man. Allen. Up top, fires off to the right to Glaus. Glaus back to Allen. Allen fires it inside, ball tipped, and it'll go up the floor to the Vikings. It goes to Blake Johnson. Johnson in the corner for 3, makes it. Vikings take the lead at 15 and a half minutes to go in the first half. It's 3-2 Colfax. Glaus across the center jump circle, being guarded by Ensminger. One-handed pass up the floor to Allen. Back out to Aiden Bertzer. He's a 6-foot senior forward guard. Allen, top of the key to Steele. Steele a look, and then he'll pass it to Glaus. Glaus will make a move driving on Ensminger. Up, doesn't make it, but the ball's tapped out to Aiden Bertzer. He'll let it fly for three. And it's 5-3 Elmwood, leading Colfax at 14:50 to go in the first. Ensminger out to Yerington. Back to Ensminger. Back and forth on that left side again. Mason will take a quick look and he'll pass it back to Ensminger. Bounce pass over to Fisher. Keeping it on top, and they try to feed Fisher underneath. Ball gets loose, and it's knocked out by Colfax. So the Wolves will bring it back up. 14:22 remains in the first half. It's Colfax 3, Elmwood, Plum City 5. Allen still in the backcourt, being guarded by Johnson, who tips it away and out of bounds. And that's going to be a turnover to Colfax. Dribble ended up right in front of the Elmwood Plum City coaches. And that's where Mason Yerington's going to toss it in for the Vikings. Yerington out to Ensminger. Ensminger across the timeline, top of the key out to Yerington. Keeping it on that left side. Ensminger takes a look and he'll give it to Fisher. Fisher drives the baseline, pops it up from 10 and in. We're tied at 5. 13:54 to go, first half. Allen out to Glaus. Back to Allen. Halfway down to Aiden Maxwell. Now in the ball game, out to Bertzer. Other side to Auth. Auth holding it outside the arch, gets it inside to Maxwell. Maxwell puts it up and in. 7-5 EPC leading Colfax inside 13 and a half minutes to go, first half. Aiden Fisher near the center circle to Yerington, out to Ensminger for three. That one goes right into the hands of Lucas Glaus. Quickly up the floor to Bertzer, and then a layup in by Dominic Forster, and it's 9-5 EPC leading Colfax. 13 minutes to go, first half. Ensminger to Fisher. Fisher up high on the left side, bounces it in to Johnson. Johnson in the lane, out to Yerington, back to Fisher. Three-point shot, rolls off, pulled off the boards by Glaus for Elmwood. To Bertzer, to Auth, free throw line right. Auth gets it in to Maxwell. Back out in the corner to Auth. Into Maxwell, ball gets tipped, and Blake Johnson ends up with it. Brings it up the floor to Yerington. Goes up for three. He'll go cross court to Fisher instead. Back to Johnson. In the corner, it goes to Fisher, then up to Johnson. Rolls off, no good. Rebounded by Logan Auth. Glaus brings it up, and Glaus for three. Hits the left side of the board, and it's rebounded by Aiden Fisher. Three-point shot by Ensminger is good. And it is now a 9-8 ball game. 11:48 to go, first half. Wolves with the ball up at the top of the key. It's Maxwell to Allen. Allen driving in. It's Auth. Auth puts it up and in and draws a foul. It's going to be the first foul of the game, and it's going to be charged to Eli Ralph. Oh, check that. That's going to go against Mason Yerington. So Logan Auth with the basket's going to get one free throw on top of that. 11:35 to go, first half. And it's now Elmwood Plum City 12, Colfax 8. Johnson bringing it up the floor, crosses the center circle to Fisher. Back to Johnson. Johnson trying to get it to Ensminger. Off a Wolf paw. Back out to Maxwell. Firing it down underneath. Dylan Zeilinger wide open. It's 14-8. Elmwood Plum City lead. Colfax takes a timeout, 11:14 to go first half. You're watching Colfax Viking Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
When you have that craving for a home-cooked meal the way Mom used to make it, rest assured, you can still get that meal by going to Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax. Mom's is open daily, serving breakfast and lunch, and don't forget dinner on Friday nights with Mom's famous fish fry. The coffee is always hot, the breakfast is always delicious, and lunch will put a smile on your face and in your stomach. 225 Bremer Avenue, Colfax. Call 715-962-4617. That's Mom's Restaurant and Pub.
11:14 remains in the first half. The Elmwood Plum City Wolves 14, the Colfax Vikings 8. Vikings boys basketball. Fisher and Ensminger back and forth over on the left wing. They bounce it inside to Orion Nichols. His shot is short, rebounded by Glaus for EPC. Glaus give and go to Bertzer over on the right wing. He feeds it inside to Maxwell. Maxwell doubled up. He'll fire it back out to Glaus. Glaus sends it sailing, and it ends up into the hands of Blake Johnson of Colfax. Up the floor to Ensminger. He'll look at a three-pointer. Back out to Johnson. Fires opposite side to Aiden Fisher. Fisher inside to Logan Schwartz, and he'll have to toss it back out. Fisher goes in. Feeds it inside to Orion Nichols, and that ball's going to go to EPC on the possession arrow. We hope you'll join NLW TV along with the Northern Light Webcasting Network Thursday night, February 15th, as the Viking girls will wrap up their 23-24 regular season by taking on the Mondovi Buffaloes in a Dun St. Croix matchup. From Colfax High School, this will also mark our final Viking girls game on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLW TV for this season. Live coverage will begin with Viking pregame at 6:40. That'll be followed by all the live play-by-play action. That's Colfax girls basketball, their 23-24 season finale Thursday night on NLWN TV and the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Over and back for Elmwood, Plum City, as the Vikings get the ball back out to Ensminger from Johnson. Teammates lined up on each side of the lane. Now they break that free. It's Johnson inside to Nichols. Nichols to Schwartz. Schwartz goes up for the shot. It's too hard. Doesn't fall, but he's fouled on the way up. And it looks like he'll be going to the free throw line. That foul is going to be charged to Elmwood Plum City's Aiden Maxwell. That's his first. Each team has a foul here in the first half. And Logan Schwartz is going to shoot a pair of free throws here, try to close this gap. First one rolls off, no good. And Schwartz gets it back to give number 2 a shot, and that one bounces off the back iron, pulled out of there by Glaus and into the hands of Aiden Maxwell. Glaus fires off to the left to Bickel. Out to Zeilinger. Zeilinger inside to Maxwell. Ball gets loose. Coming out with it is Aiden Fisher. Fisher to Ensminger. Ensminger's going to look at a 3-ball instead. Put it up from the lane for 2. EPC Wolves 14. Colfax Vikings 10. Inside 9.5 minutes remaining in the first half. Dylan Zeilinger. Zeilinger over to Glaus. Glaus to Allen. Back out on top to Zeilinger. Back to Allen on the right side. Colfax still in a man-to-man. Allen back to the jump circle. Gives it to Bickel. He can't hang on to it. Ball gets loose. It's saved from going out of bounds to Aiden Fisher. He puts up the layup. That doesn't go. Rebounded by Aiden Maxwell. Over to Glaus. Glaus going up. Nice block by Logan Schwartz. Went out of bounds off him, but saved a basket. So the Wolves will get it on their end at the VN Vikings. 8:51 to go. First half, it's 14-10. Wolves out in front of the Vikings. Ball goes into Glaus. Going up, it's Riley Beckel. And caught underneath with it is Logan Oth. He can't get rid of it, so he bounces it off Schwartz. Now we have Aiden Bertzer coming back into the game for Riley Beckel. 8:42 to go in the first. Inbounds pass goes in up on top to Glaus. Glaus on the right side of the lane. Ball tangled up. This one's going to Colfax. 8:37 to go in the first. Elmwood Plum City 14, Colfax 10. Ensminger across the 10-second line. Fires it over to Theo Hubney now in the game. And we will have a violation on the Vikings, turning it over, traveling to EPC. And that pass too high, and Ensminger grabs it, takes a move to the basket, puts it up and in. EPC 14, Colfax 12. Glaus with a baseball pass down to Oth. Oth will make a move. He'll pop it up and in. 16-12 Wolves. Ensminger brings it across for the Vikings. Bounce pass to Fisher up high on the right wing, back on the left side. Ensminger takes a look, fires it back to Fisher. Fisher driving the baseline. He's doubled up, gets it into Schwartz. Schwartz up, shot falls short. And Ryan Nichols, his shot doesn't go, and the ball's going to go out of bounds off the back of the head of Theo Hubney. EPC will get it. 7:40 to go first half, 16-12. Elmwood Plum City. Ryan Nichols comes out. Lucas Glaus out of the backcourt. Glaus to Oth. Down underneath to Steele. Steele out in the corner to Blake Allen. Blake Allen drains the three ball. It's 19-12 Wolves. Going to go to Johnson. Johnson back to Hubney. Bounces it to Ralph. And then eventually gets out on top to Johnson. Back to Hubney. Ralph back to Hubney. And Blake Johnson, three-point attempt. Rolls off. Rebounded by Fisher. That one doesn't go in, and picking it up for Elmwood is Logan Oth. And he is fouled in the process by Theo Hubney. 6:51 to go first half. It's 19-12. Elmwood Plum City out in front of the Colfax boys. Glaus across the timeline with a pass to Bertzer. He gets it back, fires over to Oth. Down to Allen, back out top to Glaus. Glaus for three, bounces out big. Coming up with it is Hubney. Hubney gets a pass up the floor to Elijah Ensminger, and he's fouled while he's making the pass by Lucas Glaus. That's Glaus's first foul, the second team foul for the Raiders. Ensminger will fire to Fisher. Back to Ensminger. Oh, did it again, sorry. Top of the key, Ensminger. Ensminger out to the free throw line left to Hubney. Back out to Ensminger from Johnson. And he's bumped into by Blake Allen. And that is Allen's first foul. That's the third foul for the Wolves as a team. Inside to Fisher. Back to Ensminger in front of the Elmwood Plum City bench. And he'll dribble it into the center. Passes to Hubney, into Fisher, and Aiden took a step before he dribbled. Inside 6 minutes left first half, 19-12, Elmwood Plum City. Inbounds throw to Glaus. Vikings apply full court pressure. Allen doubled up on, trying to go in. He'll get a pass over to Maxwell. Then outside the arch, three-pointer by Aiden Bertzer. 6 points for him, and it's a 22-12 lead for the EPC Wolves. Ensminger out to Johnson, and he took an extra step. Traveling violation. Colfax wants a timeout. 5:27 remains first half. Elmwood Plum City 22, Colfax 12. You're watching Vikings basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN 2, and Viking TV.
If your estate isn't looking quite estate-like, let Midwest Environmental Consultants landscape your estate right up to snuff with installation of retaining walls, brick patios, foundation planting beds, and so much more. Then they'll keep it that way with their expert lawn care service. Call Midwest Environmental Consultants at 608-468-2067. Let Midwest Environmental Consultants help make your estate the showplace of the neighborhood.
Welcome back to Colfax. Dylan Zeilinger across the timeline, bounces it to Maxwell on the sideline, down the corner, back out on the wing to Allen. Allen being guarded by Johnson. They get to the other side with a pass to Zeilinger, back out on top to Allen. To Zeilinger. Zeilinger halfway down to Aiden Maxwell, into Loganoff. Off out to Maxwell. Maxwell on the give and go gives it to Allen. He heads toward the basket, gets too far underneath. Out at the top of the key, it's Maxwell. Maxwell on the baseline goes up, and he's fouled by Eli Ralph. It's got to be frustrating for him because oftentimes when he goes up.
Fouls on number 2.
Oh, 2. Hubney, okay. On the free throw line, Aiden Maxwell made the first, looking at the second. That one catches the front iron, and Ralph comes up with a rebound. Gives it to Johnson. Johnson and Ensminger back and forth on the left side. Inside on the baseline to Ralph. Looks like he'll go up, out on top to Johnson, out to Yarrington. Yarrington inside to Fisher. Fisher out to Ensminger. Back out to Johnson. To Ralph. Ralph trying to get it back inside to Fisher and bounced it into a pack of Wolves. Allen headed down for a layup. And this foul is going to be charged to Blake Johnson. That's Blake's first. 4 team fouls for Colfax, 3 for Elmwood, Plum City. And the first one is good. A reminder, if you didn't get to stop in and see your child's teacher for parent-teacher conferences at Colfax schools yesterday, you still have an opportunity on Thursday. It's important for you as parents to be a part of the team in your child's education. And the second free throw is good.
Just let everybody know that we are watching the Mondovi-Duran game and keeping an eye on that. So we'll keep you updated on that score.
Ensminger up top on the left, back and forth with Yarrington. Up top on the right. Mason looking down underneath, gives it to Ensminger. Fires it back to Yarrington, out to Fisher, bounces it into Johnson. Johnson out to Fisher. Fisher for 3, rolls around, doesn't go, and the ball goes out of bounds off Colfax. Or actually, a foul is going to be called on Elijah Ensminger. That's the 5th foul of the first half for Colfax, and Elijah's first. Bertzer into Glaus. Glaus being guarded by Ensminger, the top scorer for each team. Brewer Link now into the game. He lets it go from three-point land, missed, rebounded by Logan Schwartz. To Fisher. Fisher's going to take it up, and the ball gets knocked down, goes out of bounds. Colfax is still going to get to keep it. Blake Johnson to throw it in, left side of the Colfax hoop. Johnson bounces it into Schwartz, out to Ensminger. Back to Fisher, down in the corner to Yerington. He takes it for three and drains it. 25-15. Elmwood Plum City leading Colfax. We're inside 3 minutes to go in the first half. Bertzer, free throw line left, out on top to Link. Back out to Zeilinger. Back to Link. He's being guarded by Johnson. Triple teamed underneath the basket, and Yerington gave it a poke, and unfortunately the last one to touch it, so EPC's going to keep it. Brewer Link's going to throw it in. And now coming in are Blake Allen and Lucas Glaus for the Wolves. Glaus fires it down underneath to Bertzer. Bertzer tosses it back toward the corner, and luckily Allen gets back there to save it. Allen outside the three-point arch to Bertzer. Bertzer driving in, and on the way in, he is fouled. He's going to go to the free throw line for two, and that foul is going to be charged to Logan Schwartz. That's his first. That is also the 6th foul of the half for the Vikings. So on the next Colfax foul, the Wolves are going to be in the bonus. First one missed. Going to give the second one a shot. That one missed as well. Schwartz knocks it over to Fisher. Fisher up the floor to Ensminger. He's open for a three-pointer. Rolls off and into the hands of Blake Allen of the Wolves. Allen drives it up the floor quickly. Colfax gets back there. Out on the right side to Maxwell. Left open, but he's going to throw it back to Allen. Allen out to Bertzer. Back and forth to Allen. Down free throw line right to Beagle. Aiden Maxwell. Back out to Blake Allen. Allen out to Aiden Bertzer. Bertzer out to Beagle. Caught in the corner. Flips it back to Glaus. Further in the corner. Inside to Aiden Maxwell, and timeout. Elmwood, 1:35 left first half. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN TV, or NLWN2 and Viking TV.
Anderson Bridges, located in Colfax, Wisconsin, has been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. With hundreds of bridges supplied nationwide, we suspect you've crossed our path. It may have been on a pedestrian or bicycle bridge, or how about a snowmobile, ATV, or golf course bridge? Anderson Bridges is likely to have manufactured it. Founded in 1989, Anderson Bridges has been a family-owned company since its beginning and are proud to support the Colfax Vikings.
Join us Friday night as the Viking boys travel to Glenwood City to take on the Hilltoppers in a Dunn St. Croix Conference game. Viking pregame 6:40 or so, and the play-by-play after that here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. Out top for the Wolves, Blake Allen. Allen fires to Lucas Glaus, then down in the corner to Bertzer. Bertzer back out on top to Allen, tipped away by Johnson. Fisher tried to get in there, and now a three-point shot by Bertzer. That's no good, but the rebound by Beagle. Back inside to Maxwell, who puts in the basket. Minute to go, first half, and the EPC Wolves lead by 12. Bounce pass to Johnson. Johnson out to Yarrington, inside to Fisher. Turnaround jumper short. Schwartz with a rebound, back out to Fisher. Fisher to Johnson. Johnson up from 8. That one catches the front iron, and it's rebounded by Beekle, sorry. There's Riley Beekle and Tim Beckel. Got to keep those names straight here. Blake Allen out on the left side. It goes to Beekle, and his shot falls short. It's rebounded by Schwartz. Up the floor to Fisher, to Johnson. Down on the baseline to Ensminger. His shot deflected a little bit, hits the rim, rebounded by Bertzer of the Wolves. Bertzer gets it to Allen. Out to Riley Beekle. Beekle gets it back. Ball to Allen, and time runs out in the first half. So at halftime, the Colfax Viking Boys trail the Elmwood Plum City Wolves by a margin of 27-15. Stay tuned for Viking halftime. That's coming up next on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2 are excited to once again be your host for Colfax High School Boys Basketball throughout the 2023 through 2024 season.
This is what we came in for.
Our next game will be on Friday, February 16th, when the Vikings will travel to Glenwood City, Wisconsin to take on the Glenwood City Hilltoppers. Live coverage on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and on NLWN2 begins with Viking Pregame at 6:40 p.m. That's live Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2 on Friday, February 16th.
Time now for Viking Halftime, with today's Viking profile and other halftime entertainment. That's coming up right after this.
Hey, boss. Okay.
I said I'm fine.
Me the babe, see you in the morning. With the frosted Superman, but it wasn't on it. And we lost it.
You can talk to me.
It's been really hard for you.
Time now for Viking Profile, where we take a closer look at one of the Colfax Viking players. And now, Viking Profile.
Today on Viking Profile, we're going to get to know Eli Ralph, who's a senior here at Colfax High School. And Eli, we know that you play basketball, but are you involved in any other activities here at school?
Football.
Okay, and how'd football go for you this year?
Went all right.
Okay, guys didn't come up with a whole lot of wins, but doggone it, you stayed close in a lot of games and made it exciting.
Yeah.
Had some fun?
Yeah.
All right, we know that, when did you start playing basketball, and what kind of an experience has that been for you?
Started in 4th grade, I think, and it's been an interesting experience.
Okay, what's the most important thing that you've learned playing basketball?
I don't know, work ethic, just hustle.
Nothing happens without hard work, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay, so when you're not playing basketball or you're not here at school, what are some other things that keep you interested or occupied?
I don't know, working, riding 4-wheelers, snowmobiles, stuff like that.
Just being out and about and doing stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we got some rapid fire questions for you. These ones aren't tough. You know what they are already anyway. Pie, ice cream, cake, or cookies?
Pie.
Which kind?
Banana.
Banana. Okay, I think you're the first one that said that. Okay. Hot dog, burger, or brats?
Burger.
And what do you want on that burger?
Mayo and onions.
Mayo and onions, okay. Your favorite color?
Green.
And is there a reason for that?
No.
No, just like green.
Yeah.
Okay, that works. If you could have a superpower, what do you think that might be?
I don't know, super speed.
Super speed, okay. And I could see in basketball how that could be an advantage. You get down the floor faster. Okay. As if Coach Knoll doesn't let you get down the court slowly anyway.
Right, yeah.
But if you have super speed as your superpower, you have to have a superhero name to go with that. So what's Eli's superhero name?
I don't know.
All right.
Because I don't think of superhero names, but...
Okay, well, in which case, we just have to call you Eli, who goes really fast.
I guess so, yeah.
Okay. Favorite NBA team?
Bucks.
Favorite college team?
Wisconsin.
All right. Is there a basketball player who has kind of influenced the way you play your game? And that can be at any level of the game, whether it's pro or high school or whatever.
Not really.
Not really. You just want to get out there and play.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. We're talking with Eli Ralph today on Viking Profile. And Eli, what are your plans for after high school?
I don't know. Go to college, kind of figure stuff out from there, I guess.
Okay, and you don't know for sure what area you're going to go into?
I mean, it's narrowed down a little bit, but not completely.
Nothing carved in stone yet?
No.
Okay. How about a shout out to the family?
Hi.
Short and classy, right?
Yeah.
Hi. Okay, we'll take that. When people come to watch Viking games, what number do you wear, and where are they going to find you on the floor?
33. I mean, somewhere around the block, probably.
Okay, very good. We want to thank Eli Ralph for joining us today on Viking Profile. Coming up next, more Viking Halftime.
You've been listening to Viking Profile. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcast Network.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
When I was 10, my mom got deported. We had a difficult time, and I feel that's why I didn't get to finish school. My husband is really supportive in a way that he pushed me to go back to school.
She wants to have a career so her kids can look up to her.
They both keep me motivated to go to school, and they see that if I do it, like they can do it too, you know? I feel that everything's possible.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
You've been tuned to Viking Halftime. Stay tuned. Coming up is second half action of today's game on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
What are you doing in there? What's that?
I wouldn't do that. What are you doing? What are you looking for?
Halftime in the rematch between the Colfax Viking Boys and the Elmwood Plum City Wolves at halftime. The Wolves lead it 27-15. Dan, how did we get there?
Here's scores right now for the Wolves. They're led by number 24, Logan Ott. He has 9. We have Aiden Maxwell with 5. Aiden Burster's got 6. Zillinger's got 2. And Blake Allen's got 5. With the Colfax Vikings, their leader right now is number 10, Elijah Ensminger. He has 7. We have Aiden Fisher with 2. Mason Arrington has 3. And Blake Johnson has 3. 27-15, the Wolves are in the lead.
Join NLWN TV along with the Northern Light Webcasting Network this Thursday night, February 15th, as the Viking girls will wrap up their 2023-24 regular season by taking on the Mondovi Buffaloes in a Dunn St. Croix Conference matchup here from Colfax High School. This will also mark our final Viking girls game on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV for this season. Live coverage will begin with Viking pregame beginning at 6:40 p.m., and that'll be followed by all the live play-by-play action. And on Friday night, we will have the next boys game for you on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2. The Viking boys travel to Glenwood City to take on the Hilltoppers in a Dunn St. Croix matchup. Again, Viking pregame will begin at 6:40, live play-by-play to follow. That's Viking Boys Basketball Friday night on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2. The Viking girls Thursday night on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. Teams coming out to begin the second half. Elmwood Plum City in black with white numerals and trim. They will be moving left to right as you look on from the balcony here at Colfax High School. Of course, the Vikings going the other way. The lead 27-15 in favor of the team with the ball, the Elmwood Plum City Wolves. And we're set to begin the second half. The bounce pass goes into the backcourt to Blake Allen. He's being guarded by Blake Johnson. Out to Glaus. Glaus drives in, loses the ball. Coming up with it is Fisher. Fisher to Ensminger on the fast break. Good for the layup. Viking boys cut the lead to 10. EPC facing full court pressure. Blake Allen gets it into the front court. Allen into Glaus. Glaus off the glass for two. So we're trading baskets here. 29-17 Wolves. Ensminger across the 10-second line out to Yarrington. Back on the near side to Fisher, over to Yarrington. Yarrington, a three ball. Good! Vikings close the gap to within 9, 29-20. Glaus with the ball deep in the backcourt. High pass to Blake Allen. Allen being guarded by Johnson for the Vikings. Back to Glaus, up free throw line right. Glaus trying to get it inside to Oth. He gets it back from Steele as Yarrington knocks it away there. And we are going to have a blocking foul called on Colfax's Elijah Ensminger. That's his second foul, the first foul of the second half. Elmwood to throw it in. It goes in. Bertzer to Glaus. Glaus going up and hits the side of the backboard. Ensminger comes up with a rebound. Ensminger to Yarrington. Back to Elijah. And he'll take it back toward the center jump circle. Ensminger directing traffic. Will bounce it over to Johnson, down to Yarrington over on the far side. Inside it goes to Fisher, back to Yarrington. Yarrington alley-oops it over to Ensminger. Ensminger back to Yarrington. Yarrington to Fisher. Inside to Ensminger. Ensminger up from the corner, doesn't go. Rebounded by the Wolves. That's Oth, knocks it into the hands of Allen. Allen to Bertzer. And Yarrington slaps it away, but Oth gets it back. Behind it back to Allen. Allen out to Steele. Gives it back to Allen, and we will have a player control foul called on the Wolves. Jacob Steele, that's his first foul. First foul for the Wolves. 15:41 left second half. Elmwood Plum City 29, Colfax 20, Dunn St. Croix Conference Boys Basketball. Jay Fall here with Dan Petshaw, Chris Olson on the camera, and executive producer Rick Olson. Over on the far side, it is Ensminger into Ralph, back to Ensminger, and it goes out of bounds off one of the Wolves, so Johnson will throw it in for the Vikings underneath the Colfax basket. Johnson in the corner to Ensminger. Ensminger will dribble it out. He'll get it to Aiden Fisher. Ensminger. Back to Johnson. Up on top to Yarrington. Yarrington back to Ensminger. Wolves doing a good job of plugging up the middle. Johnson loses the ball between his legs, and it's rebounded by Maxwell of the Wolves. Allen for EPC. Back to Maxwell between the two wheels. And Johnson comes up with a loose ball. 1-on-2, layup too hard, trying to get the rebound is Aiden Fisher. He ends up on the floor and gets fouled by Aiden Bertzer of the Wolves. So Fisher's going to go to the free throw line, and Elmwood wants a timeout. 14:42 to go, second half. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
C&K Construction is your source for high-quality concrete and construction work in the Chippewa Valley. Established in 2014, C&K Construction in Chippewa Falls is a leading concrete contractor proud to serve Eau Claire, Altoona, Menominee, and surrounding areas. Specializing in concrete construction, excavating, flatwork poured walls, and much more, they're right for all of your concrete needs. Call C&K Construction in Chippewa Falls at 715-559-1335.
Elmwood Plum City 29, Colfax 20. On the free throw line for the Colfax Vikings is Aiden Fisher, 5'11 junior guard. First one up and in. Fisher will get one more and cuts the Colfax deficit to 8. It's 29-21, Elmwood Plum City. Make that 7 with the second one good as well, and EPC will bring it up. Lucas Glaus, one-on-one with Elijah Ensminger, and Ensminger steals the ball away. Going up against Glaus, feeds it to Fisher, and Fisher fouled on the way in, so he's going to get a couple more free throws. No, he was not shooting, so Colfax will get the ball back, and Ryan Nichols to throw it in. To Mason Yarrington, bounces off the three-point attempt, and it's rebounded by Maxwell. Maxwell to Glaus. Down along the edge of the sidelines to Allen. Allen inside to Loganoff, who's stretched out. He's going to try to go up on Ryan Nichols. Ball hits the rim. Glaus back in there. He puts it up. No good. Rebounded by Ralph. Ralph gets it to Ensminger for the Vikings. Ensminger left side to Fisher. Fisher looking at a three ball. He's going to get rid of it instead to Ensminger. Out to Yarrington. Yarrington out to the center circle to Ensminger. Down to the baseline to Ralph. Out to Yarrington. Yarrington for three. Catches the front iron. No. Ralph back to Ensminger. Colfax hanging on to it. Aiden Fisher driving in. He'll go back out to Ensminger from the sidelines. Catches the front iron. Goes up over the top of the backboard. That's out of bounds. 13:39 left second half. Elmwood Plum City Wolves over the Vikings of Colfax by 7. 29-22. Full court pressure applied by the Vikings. Out to Bertzer. Bertzer to Allen. Allen crosses a timeline out on the left side. Back to Glaus, free throw line right. Glaus gets it into Maxwell. Almost didn't have his attention. Now it's Oth. Oth down in the lane. And we will have a 3-second violation on EPC. EPC 29, Colfax 22, 13-16 left in the second half. Yarrington to Fisher. Back to Yarrington. Back to Fisher. Inside to Nichols. He tries to get it inside to Ralph. Ralph tripled up on. Ball gets loose and stolen away by EPC. Aiden Bertzer ends up with it. Bertzer to Allen. Out on the left side to Glaus. Glaus goes flying in, and it's going to be a player control foul on Lucas Glaus as he plowed into Eli Ralph. That is his second foul, Elmwood's third of the second half. 12:40 to go. 29-22, EPC Wolves. Yarrington to Ensminger. Ensminger, Fisher, over to Yarrington, free throw line left. Ensminger looks at a three ball. He'll fire to Fisher, into Ralph. Ralph up from the baseline. That rolls out, no good. And it's rebounded by Logan Outh, who's fighting to protect that ball for the Wolves. Pass it off to Blake Allen. Allen out to Glaus, back down to Outh. Outh for three. Catches the rim, no good. Rebounded by Ralph. Ralph to Ensminger. Ensminger trying to drive in between several Wolves. Lots of players on the floor. EPC comes up with it. Quickly up the floor it goes to Lucas Glaus. Glaus with the basket, and he is fouled on the way in. Well, actually, that is going to be on, I believe, Mason Yarrington. It was before the shot, so he was in the act of shooting too. Oh, it is, okay. Oh, now he changed. The official on the end there officially, or the first one, put up two fingers. So, okay, basket is good, free throw is as well, and it's a 10-point Elmwood Plum City lead. Fisher and Hubdy up the floor for Colfax. Inside it goes to Schwartz. Schwartz drives in for a bucket. 32-24, an 8-point lead for Elmwood Plum City as we approach 11 and a half minutes left in the second. Give and go out to Blake Allen. And taking a swipe at the ball, and unfortunately getting part of Blake Allen was Ryan Nichols. He shook his head as he came out of there. I think trying to say, no, I didn't. Well, it's in the book now. Allen out to Zeilinger, back to Allen, out on the far side. Up at the top of the key to Outh. He's looking underneath. Back out on top to Allen. Allen to Bertzer, inside to Maxwell. Back out in the near corner to Outh. Into Maxwell. Maxwell doubled up on, and Ryan Nichols just took the ball right away from him. Hands it off to Aiden Fisher. Fisher's going to make a move, go up and around the rim and down. 32-26, Colfax closes the gap, and now we're going to have another foul called on Elijah Ensminger. And that's his third. Colfax's fourth foul of the half. 10:39 remaining, second half. Elmwood Plum City by 6, 32-26. Quickly up the floor it goes. Allen. Allen bounces it over to Jacob Steele, who is not ready for it. It goes out of bounds. Colfax gets it back. Ensminger from Hubdy. Across the 10-second line, bounces it back to Hubdy. Hubdy trying to get it in to Fisher. And he ends up bouncing it off the top of the foot of Blake Allen of the Wolves. Ensminger, Fisher back and forth. Up on the right side. Still back and forth. Now they go to the left side to Fisher, or Hubdy. Back to Hubdy. Hubdy gets the rebound. Out to Ensminger. Ensminger on the left side this time. Back to Hubdy in the middle to Fisher. Top of the key. Swishes a three ball. 32-29. Colfax only trails by 3. Back out to Zeilinger. Zeilinger One-handed pass out to Steele. Steele looking underneath. Got to try to go around Schwartz. Up in the corner, 3-ball missed. Rebounded by Aiden Fisher for Colfax. Fisher across the timeline. Fisher to Ensminger, back and forth on the right side. Ensminger fires it in to Schwartz. Schwartz for the bucket and is fouled on the way up. 9:20 to go, second half. Elmwood Plum City 32, Colfax 31. And Logan Schwartz with an opportunity to knot this one back up. And looks like we have a foul away from the ball on Dylan Zeilinger, or check that, Aiden Bertzer of the Wolves, and a timeout on the floor. 9:20 to go, second half. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
Are your pooch's proportions putting on pounds? Or is your kitty's constitution constantly complaining?
Well, stop by and see the friendly folks at the Colfax Animal Hospital. Doctors Austin and Nikki Pritchard and their staff will be happy to help you get your family friend back on the road to healthy living. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Call them at 715-962-3380.
Let Menominee Eye and Optical help you see the world for the beautiful place it is. Doctors Nicholas and Marianne Comroe provide both comprehensive and emergency eye care for all, including pediatric and special needs patients. Whether it's examination for glasses to cataract and LASIK care, or diagnosis and management of macular degeneration, diabetic retinopathy, glaucoma, and so much more. In addition, Menominee Eye and Optical's experienced opticians will help guide you to the highest quality eye care for the best value. That's Menominee Eye and Optical, located at 520 Wilson Avenue in Menominee, where they specialize in quality, personalized care for you and your family.
Inbounds pass goes into the backcourt, and Aiden Fisher comes up with it. He'll get it to Ralph, back at the top of the key, gives it to Hubdy. Hubdy out to Ensminger. Inside to Schwartz. Schwartz goes up off the glass and good. Colfax takes the lead, 33-32. Out of the backcourt, Glaus. Fires off on the right side to Zeilinger. Zeilinger loses the ball. Orion Nichols tries to take it back. And we're going to have a jump ball, and it's going to go to Colfax. Vikings by 1, 8:45 left, second half. Hubdy back and forth with Fisher for three, makes it. Colfax up by 4, 8:28 to go, second half. Glaus looked at one, hands it to Bertzer. Bertzer's going up, and he is fouled on the way in by Logan Schwartz. That's Logan's second foul. There's 5 team fouls apiece here in the second half. On the line for the Wolves, Aiden Bertzer, and he makes the first. 36-33, Vikings leading the Wolves. 8:20 to go. That one bounces around but does get in. It's a 2-point Colfax lead. Across the timeline, Theo Hubdy from Elijah Ensminger. Hubdy in the middle, out to Ensminger. Ensminger bounces it inside to Fisher. Fisher tries to go up. Ends up on the floor. He is fouled. And we'll go to the free throw line for a pair of free throws. That foul charge to Logan Oth of the Wolves. First free throw, Fisher, good. Nothing but net on that one, 37-34. Approaching 8 minutes remaining, second half. Second one good as well. Vikings trailed by 12 at halftime. Fighting their way back into this one. Up to the Wolves. It goes to Riley Beekle. Out to Logan Oth. Oth trying to get in there. Guarded closely by Ryan Nichols, who's going to end up picking up another foul. His second of the game. 6 fouls for each team, so the next foul will put somebody in the bonus. Out on top goes to Beekle. Beekle being guarded by Fisher, trying to take the ball away. Out to Maxwell. Maxwell driving toward the baseline near side. Tries to get it inside to Beekle, and we're going to have a bonus for the Wolves, as getting on top of his arm was Aiden Fisher. That is only the first foul for Aiden. Beekle makes the first one. Just a reminder that if you didn't get to stop in and see your child's teacher for parent-teacher conferences at Colfax schools yesterday, you still have an opportunity on Thursday. It's important for you as parents to be a part of the team in your child's education. That second free throw attempt rolls out, and Aiden Fisher tries to get the ball back in bounds. And we're going to have a technical foul. And that was called on Logan Oth, I believe. No. That was our technical foul. That was called on Fisher. And shooting free throws for that is Lucas Glaus. Something got said down there. Glaus with the second free throw missed. So it's still a Colfax lead, 38-36 over the Elmwood Plum City Wolves. But off the technical foul, of course, the Wolves will get the ball. Inbounds throw goes to Blake Allen, guarded by Blake Johnson. Allen in the lane, passes it off to Oth. Back out on the right side to Bertzer, back to Oth up at the top of the key. Oth by Nichols, drives in off the glass, good. We're tied at 38. And we have the officials talking in the middle of the floor here. And doesn't affect anything. So 38 all, 7:17 to go, second half. Knotted at 38. Ensminger and Hovde back and forth over on the right side. Ensminger with the ball. 8 fouls for Colfax, 6 for Plum City Elmwood, and that shot missed. The rebound by Aiden Maxwell, and a foul's coming over for the Vikings. That is the third foul on Logan Schwartz. That's the 9th foul, so we are in a single bonus for Elmwood Plum City. Aiden Maxwell is going to shoot 1+1. Colfax girls' final regular season game is Thursday night. They host Mondovi here. Shot is missed, and it's rebounded by Ryan Nichols. 6:40 for the pregame, followed by play-by-play on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. That's Tuesday night, or Thursday night, sorry. It's Tuesday night now. Ensminger, free throw line right, and we have a player control foul. And that's going to be against Logan Schwartz. That is his 4th. 6:36 remains in tonight's game. We're tied at 38. Inbounds to Blake Allen. Allen being guarded by Colfax's Blake Johnson. He gets a pass back out to Riley Beekle, and trying to get one back to Allen, and it is picked up by Blake Johnson. Across the timeline to Ensminger. Ensminger driving in, and shot is blocked from Johnson, and Elmwood comes up with it. Blake Allen to Maxwell. Aiden Maxwell, give and go. He'll let it go to Bertzer. Inside 6 minutes left. Bertzer going in. Gets a pass over to Maxwell. He puts it in. Wolves up by 2, 40-38. 5:45 remains in regulation. Blake Johnson to Ralph to Ensminger. Eli Ralph still in the game with 4 fouls. To Fisher. Fisher to Johnson, or to Ensminger, sorry. Ensminger around the screen set by Schwartz. Outside to Johnson. Johnson's going to drive in off the glass, and he's fouled on the way in. That foul's going to go against Elmwood's Aiden Bertzer. That is the second for him in the game and the 7th team foul for the Raiders. So Colfax is in the bonus, but Johnson was shooting, so he makes the first of 2 that he's going to get. Viking boys at Glenwood City Friday night. 6:40 pregame. Play-by-play follows. Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN TV, or NLWN2. Second free throw goes in. 40 all, 5:13 left in regulation. Glaus to Bertzer, teetering on the sidelines, dumps it in the corner. Back to Allen. Allen will drive in on the baseline, reverse layup short. Ralph comes up with a rebound to Johnson to Ensminger. Ensminger driving up the floor, loses the ball. Ralph trying to save it, but it was touched last by Blake Allen, who was trying to save it for the Wolves. Tied at 40, 4:48 remaining, second half. Back to Johnson. Johnson to Ensminger. Over to Fisher. Fisher, top of the key. Ensminger, free throw line left. Back out to Fisher for 3. Bounces off, no good. Blake Allen with a rebound for the Wolves. Fisher to Glaus, down in the far corner, goes to Oth, and EPC takes a full timeout. 4:42 remaining, second half. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
Give yourself a little love this Valentine's Day. Open a health savings account or HSA to save tax-free dollars for out-of-pocket medical costs. Eyeglasses, braces, and acupuncture are just a few items allowed by the IRS. Dairy State Bank HSAs are serviced locally and work like a regular checking account. Pay by check or with a debit card, and access your account through online or mobile banking. Give us a call to learn more. Dairy State Bank. Banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
To get your lawn or garden to perform at attracting what you want, you first need to know what your soil is working with. That's where Midwest Environmental Consultants can help. Their soil testing service can give you a complete rundown on your soil's nutrition and health. They test for nitrogen levels, phosphorus, potash, micronutrients, minerals, pH, and organic matter. Let Midwest Environmental Consultants put you in control of your soil's health. Call Midwest Environmental Consultants at 608-468-2067. That's Midwest Environmental Consultants, serving western Wisconsin.
Welcome back. Elmwood, Plum City, not the Raiders or Blue Devils. And the Colfax Vikings tied up at 40. Blake Allen with the ball for the Wolves. Out to Glaus. Glaus halfway down to Maxwell. They get it down inside to Glaus, and he strains to get it up and in. Wolves lead by 2, 42-40. 4:20 left. In the corner, it's Fisher to Ralph. Back to Fisher to Ensminger. Bounces it in to Orion Nichols. Nichols will drive in, make a move to the basket, and make it. We're tied 42. 3:55 left to go in regulation. Blake Allen fires it out to Logan Oth. Oth missed Glaus underneath the basket, handed it to Zeilinger instead, or Bertzer instead, to set it up. Allen going in, and we are going to have a foul on Eli Ralph. That's his first. Allen. And he will get the second. Wolves down the double bonus. And a 2-point lead, 44-42. Ensminger. Round a screen by Fisher. Fisher gets the pass. Fisher outside to Blake Johnson. Outside to Fisher. Three-pointer missed. Rebounded by the Wolves. Off. He gives it to Blake Allen to bring up the floor. A 2-point Wolves lead. Oth out in the corner to Maxwell. Maxwell. Allen to Bertzer. Back to Maxwell. Free throw line left. He drives in, goes up, misses the shot. And we're going to have a foul called on Lucas Glaus of the Wolves. That is the 8th foul. So we're going to go to the other end to shoot bonus throws. 1+1 for Colfax. 2:51 left in regulation. Elmwood Plum City Wolves 44, Colfax Vikings 42. First free throw good. Elijah Ensminger edging the Vikings closer. And we're tied again, 44. Full court pressure by Colfax. Bertzer across the timeline to Maxwell. Maxwell heading down. Viking defense sets up quickly. Out to Blake Allen. Allen loses the dribble. He's got to get rid of it. And coming to help him out is Maxwell. And he'll hand it back to Allen to start again up at the top of the key. It goes to Oth. Oth being guarded by Nichols. And we're going to have a foul called on Orion Nichols. That's Orion's third foul. And EPC in the double bonus. So it is, we're tied at 44. 2:19 remains in the second half. Elmwood goes up by 1. Elmwood Plum City 45-44.
Like it's 5 for the 5 from the line tonight.
And the second one good as well. EPC back up in the lead by 2. Going back and forth here in the final minutes. Fisher from the free throw line loses the ball. It goes to Aiden Bertzer. Bertzer give and go to Allen. Allen across the timeline. Blake Johnson going to try to steal it back. Driving in, Allen. Around a screen, dumps it off to Oth in the near corner. Oth doubled up on. He's going to go in between them. They leave Aiden Bertzer wide open. Shot missed, but the rebound pulled down by Logan Oth. Oth gets it back to Blake Allen. Approaching a minute and a half to go in the second. Elmwood leads by 2 to Glaus. Glaus, give and go. Out to Bertzer, taken away by Ensminger. Ensminger driving it up the floor. His shot falls short, but Ralph, he puts it back up, and the ball gets loose. EPC comes up with it. 1:05 left to go, second half. Driving in, it's Allen. Allen rolls it back to Bertzer. Bertzer goes in, and Aiden Fisher ends up hitting him. And that is going to send Aiden Bertzer to the line for two. 56.6 seconds remains. First shot, good. Elmwood Plum City Wolves, 47. Colfax Vikings, 44. 9 points so far for Aiden Bertzer. That shot missed, ball tipped out, and trying to save it is Blake Johnson. And we're going to the other end to shoot free throws off a foul called on Aiden Maxwell. That is his second. Elmwood's 9th. So we have 1+1 here yet. Vikings trail by 3. Blake Johnson's first shot, good. 52.4 seconds remain in the second half. Colfax trailing by 2. Blake Johnson sends his second free throw up and makes it. Colfax is down by 1. 52.4 seconds to go. Quickly up the floor, it's Blake Allen. Ensminger tries to knock the ball away. Allen, and it's Johnson knocking it away. He passes it behind him to Auth and then gets it back. And we have a timeout called by Elmwood. It's a full timeout. 38.5 seconds to go, second half. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV is excited to once again be your host for Colfax High School girls basketball throughout the 2023 through 2024 season. Our next game will be on Thursday, February 15th, when the Vikings will host the Mondovi Buffaloes. Live coverage on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and on NLWN TV begins with Viking Pregame at 6:40 p.m. That's live Colfax Viking girls basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV on Thursday, February 15th.
Spring is on its way, and the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV are excited to once again be your home for Colfax High School baseball.
Yeah.
Join us as we follow the Colfax Vikings as they battle their way through the Dunn St. Croix Conference. We'll carry Viking home games on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV.
38.5 seconds remain in tonight's game. Elmwood Plum City with the ball and a 1-point lead. Inbounds it goes to Lucas Glaus, and trying to save the ball from going out of bounds or getting it back anyway, Ryan Nichols. They're going to give it to Aiden Bertzer again to throw in. He finds Lucas Glaus. EPC's just basically got to hang on to it to hang on to the game. Blake Allen over on the far sidelines. Over to Lucas Glaus. Glaus out to Bertzer. And we have a foul called on Blake Johnson of the Vikings. That's his second. That sends Aiden Bertzer to the free throw line for 2. It's now it continues to be a double bonus for Elmwood. And now the Wolves have a 48-46 lead. Second one, skyward. And we will have a lane violation. Timeout called by Colfax. 22.5 seconds to go. Second half. You're watching Colfax Viking Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2 are excited to once again be your host for Colfax High School Boys Basketball throughout the 2023 through 2024 season.
This is what we came in for.
Our next game will be on Friday, February 16th, when the Vikings will travel to Glenwood City, Wisconsin to take on the Glenwood City Hilltoppers. Live coverage on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and on NLWN2 begins with Viking Pregame at 6:40 p.m. That's live Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2 on Friday, February 16th.
Final Colfax Girls Vikings broadcast will be Thursday night, February 15th. The Mondovi Buffaloes will be here for a Dunn St. Croix game. Viking pregame 6:40, followed by live play-by-play action. That on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. Blake Johnson to throw it in. Elijah Ensminger brings it out. Ensminger going up, puts it a layup. We're tied at 48. 11 seconds to go. Glaus with the ball for EPC, and traveling called on Glaus. Well, he made a traveling signal. All right, it went on the end line. Elmwood Plum City getting it back. 6.7 seconds. And we have a timeout called by the Wolves. 6.7 seconds to go, second half. Well, let's just keep this one right here. With the final seconds, we are tied at 48. Elmwood has the ball underneath their own basket when we come back. The Viking boys, their next game will be Friday night. They will go to Glenwood City for their final conference road game. And they will take on the Hilltoppers in Glenwood City. 6:40 for the pregame show, followed by live play-by-play action. That's here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. Reminder that if you didn't get to stop in and see your child's teacher for parent-teacher conferences at Colfax schools yesterday, you still have an opportunity to do so on Thursday. It's important for you as parents to be part of the team in your child's education. So we're coming out of the timeout. We are deadlocked at 48 points apiece. Elmwood Plum City with the ball underneath their own basket. Lucas Glaus is going to throw it in. Aiden Fisher will try to knock it down for Colfax. In the corner it goes to Blake Allen. Allen goes up out to Glaus. Glaus tries to go up. Ball gets into the hands of Orion Nichols. And we have overtime. Tied at 48 in regulation. And we will be back. You are watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back. 4 minutes on the clock for overtime. Both of these teams tied at 48. The Wolves won by 10, 55-45, when they played this match on January 11th. As far as fouls go, 10 fouls for Colfax, so that means any foul for the Vikings is going to put the Wolves on the line for 2 free throws. The next foul by the Wolves will be the same thing for Colfax. 4 minutes on the clock, 48 all. Eli Ralph going up with Lucas Glaus, and it's tipped back to Blake Allen of the Wolves. Allen out to Oth, free throw line left. Oth out to Maxwell. Maxwell goes in, shot too hard, and Eli Ralph had his back foot planted well out of bounds. Inbounds throw goes to Maxwell. Maxwell out to Allen. Allen up top. Fires it off to Logan Oth. Oth out to Bertzer. Over to Maxwell. Maxwell into Glaus, and we're going to have a player control foul called on Glaus. Orion Nichols got there and set.
That's 5 or 4 fouls on Glaus.
Ooh. So both teams in the double bonus. Of course, you don't get free throws for an offensive foul. So out on the left side, it goes to Blake Johnson. Johnson to Ralph. Out to Ensminger. He looks at a 3 ball. He'll give it to Johnson. Johnson out to Fisher. To Ensminger. Ensminger goes up. Back out to Fisher. Fisher drives in. Layup good! Colfax 50. Elmwood Plum City 48. 2:47 left in overtime. Allen up the floor to Bertzer. Bertzer being guarded by Fisher. He'll hand it to Blake Allen for EPC. Allen will go out to Oth. Oth will take the shot for 3. Catches the iron, but no good. Rebounded by Ralph. Ralph gives it to Ensminger, and Colfax takes a timeout. 2 minutes, 21 seconds remaining in overtime. 50-48 Colfax. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
Owen, when you came into my life, it was a whirlwind.
I just can't do it.
We didn't know what the future would hold, but we knew you would always be a part of it. Adopting you was the best decision in our life. And I am so proud to call you my son.
How you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Thank you.
A place to make my own, a place that I call home, this place that I call home.
Vikings with the ball, 2:21 remaining in overtime. Colfax 50, Elmwood Plum City 48. Elijah Ensminger brings it across the timeline. Ensminger, give and go to Johnson. Ball gets tapped away. Stolen. Blake Allen goes in for the layup. We're tied. 2 minutes to go in overtime. 50-50. Elijah Ensminger out of the backcourt, crosses the 10-second line and center jump circle. Ensminger goes, drives in, and he makes the basket and is fouled. So Elijah Ensminger makes the basket on the layup and is fouled on the way in. That's going to be the second foul charge to Logan Oth. Ensminger, second for first free throw good. Colfax with a 3-point lead, 53-50. Blake Allen drives in. Off the right side, it goes to Aiden Maxwell. And now he makes the basket. The foul Called on Eli Ralph of Colfax. It's Ralph's second foul. And that puts Aiden Maxwell on the line to tie this one up again, and he does. 1:37 left in overtime. We're tied at 53. Fisher across the center jump circle. Rensminger pops it up from the lane. Good! 55-53 Colfax. Wolves bring it up. It's Blake Allen. Allen out to Glaus. Glaus, his foot slides, and the ball's turned over to Colfax. It's Ensminger, and Ensminger fouled by Blake Allen. 1:05 to go in overtime. That's the third foul on Blake Allen, and getting 2 free throws, Elijah Ensminger. Double bonus going both ways. Colfax leading by 2. Make it 3. 56-53. Colfax outscored Elmwood Plum City 33-21 in the second half to come back. EPC led this one at halftime 27-15. That one missed. Ball goes out of bounds. It was last touched by EPC. Colfax gets the ball underneath their own basket with a 3-point lead and 1:04 left in overtime. Johnson out to Ensminger. Ensminger to Johnson. And Johnson fouled by Blake Allen. So Blake Johnson's going to get 2 free throws. And that's the 4th foul on Blake Allen. First free throw, Johnson, good. Colfax 57, Elmwood Plum City 53. 55.8 seconds remaining in overtime. Second one, good. Colfax, a 5-point lead. Under a minute to go in overtime. Biko out to Maxwell. 3-point shot by Biko. Missed. Elmwood Plum City gets it back in, but they tip it to Blake Johnson. And Johnson's fouled by Aiden Maxwell. So Blake Johnson's going to go to the free throw line again. 39.8 seconds to go in overtime. 3 fouls on Aiden Maxwell. Colfax 58, Elmwood Plum City 53, overtime. First free throw missed. Blake Johnson with a second. And he makes it. That gives Colfax a 6-point lead. Timeout called by the Wolves. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
You need some help?
Your tow chains are a little loose. Could spark a wildfire. I could show you how to secure them properly if you'd like.
Sure. Thanks a lot.
Anytime. You should check out SmokeyBear.com. They've got a bunch of tips on wildfire prevention.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome back. 39.8 seconds remain in this overtime. Colfax 59, Elmwood Plum City 53. Colfax Viking Boys will travel to Glenwood City Friday night. That's our next broadcast and the Vikings' final road conference game. And the girls wrap up their regular season here against Mondovi Thursday night. Both pre-games get underway about 6:40 with play-by-play following. Girls on NLWN TV, boys on NLWN 2. Elmwood Plum City's Blake Allen with the ball. Allen to Brewer Link. Tries a three-pointer, missed, rebounded by Bertzer. Ball goes out of bounds off Eli Ralph. 24 seconds left in overtime. Colfax 59, Elmwood Plum City 53. Colfax with their biggest lead of the night right now. Bertzer fires it into Allen. Allen from the free throw line. Out to Maxwell. Misses. Rebounded by Ensminger. 15 seconds left in overtime. Ensminger out to Fisher. Fisher across the timeline. And he's just going to pull it back as the Colfax Vikings will hang on to win in overtime. Tonight's final, Colfax 59, Elmwood Plum City 53. The Vikings move up to 5-7 in the Dun St. Croix, and they are 8-13 on the season, while Elmwood falls to 2-10 for the season for the conference, and 5-14 overall. We invite you now to stay tuned for the Viking postgame show. That coming up next. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN 2, and Viking TV.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
You have been tuned to Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2. This copyrighted production of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and Colfax High School is intended for the enjoyment of the viewing and listening audience. Any broadcast, rebroadcast, or reproduction in part or in whole in any form without the express written consent of the Northern Light Webcasting Network LLC and Colfax High School is prohibited. Stay tuned. Coming up next is Viking Postgame with a look back at today's game.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Time now for Viking Postgame, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking Boys game. And now, Viking Postgame.
Colfax Vikings 59, the Elmwood Plum City Wolves 53 in overtime. Mark Knoll, the head coach of the Vikings, comes up to join us. And Mark, a difference in halves and another really strong effort by the Vikings.
Kids played hard, and yes, we dug ourselves a hole, and we had to fight through that adversity of kind of being stagnant in the first half, of standing around and no one really being aggressive and just kind of playing blah basketball. I don't even know what you want to call that. We're going to keep it PG and call it blah.
Sounds good.
And proud of the boys for, I think I said it on the interview today, the first team to 50 wins, and we got the first 2 points in overtime to get 50 points. So I kind of in my mindset knew if we could get to that we had a good chance to win. I'm proud of the boys for just fighting through adversity of not playing well in the first half, and then the second half playing actually very well. We outscored by 16 points in the second half.
Yeah, that was quite impressive. What things were different? What adjustments were made specifically to?
We adjusted our offense. The first half I was trying a bunch of different things to see what worked, and then I kind of thought about one that I thought would maybe work at halftime, and just showed them. And we started getting some post touches, and Logan stepped up and had 2 or 3 nice big baskets for us. That started opening that up down there, and then eventually, because we were doing well against their zone, they went man. And I thought when they go man, then it's hard for people to guard Elijah and Aiden in man.
Yeah, you bet. So then, then you end up with your biggest lead in overtime. What things do you felt made the difference there?
Well, I think number one is we were getting stops, right? And we weren't panicking, even when they took a lead late in the game there with I don't remember how much time was left, a couple of minutes left, something like that. They might have a 1-point lead in there somewhere. Mm-hmm. And we didn't panic, came down, we got the next bucket, and then we took the lead back. So we were answering their answers a little bit. And so it was nice to see that happen. It was nice to see the kids get big plays, and we had different kids step up. Like today, Blake I saw had 10 points. Coming in today, his season high was 8, so now he has a season high of 10. So that was huge for us, and he had a bunch of free throws. He was knocking down his free throws. I don't know what we were for the game, but I feel like we made a bunch of free throws.
Yeah, I think that was extremely important too. And another player that I noticed, especially on defense and just intensity, was Ryan Nichols.
Yes. Yeah, he was a spark plug for us, right?
Yeah.
Came in, and he took a charge. Ralph took a charge also, so they both did. And those were big plays when they took those charges. And you saw Orion's energy when he took that charge, right? That energy feeds into everyone else. And that's something that we talk about within our team a lot is to be an energy giver, not taker, right?
Yeah.
And we always tell the kids in life, you're surrounded by people who are either energy takers or givers. We want givers because those are the people that are fun to play with.
You bet. And speaking of energy, this is a great time in the season for to win in overtime and keep that energy high.
It helps us stay on top of our goal of getting in the top 4 of conference. So we've got 2 conference games left with Glenwood City and with Mondovi. If we can win both those games, we'll finish in 4th place in conference, and that's our goal was to finish in the top 4 of conference. So that's our big goal, and I think that's why we might have came out a little hesitant early, because they're thinking about some of that stuff, and they're not just playing basketball. So we're going to get back to just playing basketball.
Okay. Glenwood City on Friday night will be the rematch game over there. What do you expect?
Well, it depends on who's healthy and who plays, because they've got some really nice players, and it depends if they're healthy and they're playing. Like tonight, they had 2 kids that one kid that came back, he's been gone for 6 games. Another kid that's been gone for about 7 games. And then one kid that rolled his ankle in the last game. We weren't sure if he was a player or not, and they were all playing tonight. So you just never know who's healthy, who's playing. I expect it to be a heck of a game over at Glenwood City.
Yeah, and one that, you just go and play basketball and keep it going.
Let's go.
All right, Mark Knoll, thanks for talking with us. Congratulations on a great win tonight.
Appreciate it, you guys. Thank you. Go Vikings.
Go Vikings. Mark Knoll, head coach of the Colfax Viking Boys. And we will, let's see, are you ready with the numbers, Dan? Let's just go right into it here.
I think I am.
Okay.
Yeah, here's the scores for the Wolves tonight. They're led by number 24, Logan Oth. He had 11 points. Aiden Maxwell had 10. Riley Beckel had 1. Aiden Burster had 10. Lucas Gauss had 8. And Blake Allen had 9. For the Vikings, they're led tonight by number 10, Elijah Ensminger. He had 19 points. Followed by Aiden Fisher with 16. We had Blake Johnson with 10. Mason Yarrington had 6. Logan Schwartz had 6. And Ryan Nichols had 2.
The final, 59-53 in overtime. Elmwood Plum City led 27-15 at the half. Colfax outscored the Wolves 33-21 to tie it up at the end of the second, and outscored Elmwood 9-5 in overtime. to take tonight's game. We invite you to join us. The girls have their final regular season game and our final Viking girls game broadcast Thursday night. Mondovi Buffaloes are coming here, and then as we mentioned with Mark, the Colfax boys have 3 games left, and it's their final road conference game at Glenwood City. Viking pregame starts at 6:40, both of those evenings, followed by the play-by-play. Girls on NLWN TV, boys on NLWN 2, and both of them on the Northern Light Webcasting Network. For executive producer Rick Olson, our camera operator Chris Olson, and Dan Petshaw, I'm Jay Fall. We appreciate you joining us tonight. Thank you and good night.
You've been listening to Viking Postgame, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking Boys game. You can catch Colfax Vikings games by tuning in to any of the Northern Light Webcasting Network outlets. This has been a production of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.